بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولو أنهم آمنوا واتقوا لمثوبة من عند الله خير لو كانوا يعلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقولوا راعنا وقولوا انظرنا واسمعوا وللكافرين عذاب أليم صدق الله العظيم. Regarding ayat number 103, the rabat and connection of this ayah, it is directly connected to the previous ayah, ayat number 102. A lot of details we tried to cover in ayat number 102 regarding the historical background of sihr and magic, particularly the dark arts, and how there were attempts and efforts made in destroying the lives of people as a means of revenge for the enslavement that was done by Bukhti Nasr or Nebuchadnezzar. And this was done as a means of punishment or a punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's side against the Bani Israel, against the Jews. The Bani Israel, they were sent many Anbiya alayhimus salam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to them two Anbiya, two prophets, Sha'ya alayhi salam and Armiya alayhi salam. So they killed Sha'ya alayhi salam and put Armiya alayhi salam in prison. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent His punishment against them, and they were enslaved and taken to Iraq as slaves. There they wanted to take revenge against their captors, so they formulated a means of trying to use wahi, trying to use a revelation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given them. As a means of benefit, they wanted to try and use this to harm or cause harm and destruction to people. We tried our best to cover as many details as we could. What is clear is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent two malaika, Harut and Marut, two angels. And as a means of test, or as a test for the Bani Israel, they were given an option to learn sihr, to learn magic. But whoever learned it, it was made very clear to them that you will not have any portion in the hereafter. And you're only destroying your akhirah, you're only destroying your hereafter. And this is a very, very terrible bargain that you're making. وَلَبِئْسَ مَا شَرَوْا بِهِ أَنفُسَهُمْ. It is a very terrible bargain that you're making, a terrible business deal that you're making, that you're purchasing this sihr, this magic. On one side, yes, you see power in it, you see influence in it. And as human beings, often a time when we're given an option to have power, there are many things that we as human beings, because of our love and our desire to have power, to have powerful positions, as human beings, we aspire to have control. So there are many things that we will forego as far as our logic is concerned, as far as advice is concerned. Many times, on many occasions, we as human beings, we forego what is good just to have that power or have any means of control over people or influence over people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Give them many warnings that this is a test for you. But they did not heed those warnings, and they purchased this sihr, these dark arts. They in various ways documented it. It is still there till today. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us believers the Quran, this wahi, this kalamullah. And this is a means of protection, or it is a protection against sihr, against magic, against dark arts. There are particular ayat that are recited in various ways, in various formats. And they are a means of cure. It is a ruqya, a kind of cure against the ill effects of sihr or magic. One thing should be understood that a sahir, the main position of a sahir or a magician, and we have already gone over these details, that the main power of a magician comes from your fear of them. So that is why often a time they will over amplify the effect of magic just to make you afraid. But one should not be afraid, and along with that one should understand that recitation of the Quran, particular ayat. If you don't know anything else, Surat al-Fatiha in itself is a very, very unique cure. One of the many names of Surat al-Fatiha is also al-Ruqya, that it itself is a cure and a protection against various elements. Also the Mu'awwadhatayn, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. These are referred to as Mu'awwadhatayn. They are two protectors against various types of ill effects from those things that we do not even understand, or we're not able to understand how the effects of those things work. Mu'awwadhatayn, particularly قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. These two surahs, Mu'awwadhatayn, they are a means of protection against dark arts, against even the evil eye. Even the ayat of Surah Al-Falaq, we seek the refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. We seek the refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of those who blow on the knots, or the witches that blow on knots. And they used to have a particular system where the way that sihr does work is that the sahir, they will always try to gain access to a part of you that had been on you in the last 40 days. Your hair, your nails. These are things that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, whenever he clipped his nails or he had his hair cut, he would always bury it. Even his own blood. If his ever blood, he would try and bury it. There's very, very great hikmah and wisdom behind this. Because the Sahirin, sometimes they try to use this and they'll tie it in knots. In those knots they have certain inscriptions. And they'll also use various kinds of other material that have a very profound impact on us human beings. And that part of you has to have been on you within the last 40 days. After 40 days it doesn't have any impact. It's not connected to you anymore. The Sahir or the magician, they'll try their best to get access to this. Generally they do their rituals or their magic, they try their best to do it on the full moon, the 14th, 15th, 16th of the month, known as the Laylatul Badr, or those nights where the moon is full. And often a time in those nights they have various kinds of rituals that they do. They kind of do sacrifices to the shayateen and to the devils. And they have certain recitations that they do on that hair or that nail or that piece of you. And when they do this kind of recitation, they also blow it on that, and also in knots. They tie it in knots and they blow. And when they blow on these knots, the effect starts. It can be various kinds of effects. Sudden sickness, a kind of weaknesses can come in the life. There can be sudden emotional outbursts that a person never had before. And there can be many, many other impacts that the person can feel. But this does not mean that every kind of sickness is sihr. Don't become paranoid, And this does not mean that every kind of emotional outburst is magic or sihr. We should not become paranoid. It is very rare, it's not very common that sihr does happen. But in our daily life, we're even taught by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to recite the Mu'awwadhatayn, to recite قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. If it is recited every morning, and you can add Surah Al-Ikhlas. One of the hadith also, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ is mentioned. There's also the famous four قُل قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Many ulama have given in various cultures, this is recited. But we know about قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ مُعَوَّذَتَيْن قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. These are recited every morning 3 times. And then there's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that mentioned this person will be protected from the ill effects of sihr and even evil eye, and also if it is recited at night 3 times. So you should at least make this a habit of reciting it 3 times. You can also recite it after every salah. It is very, very effective. So get in the habit of reciting these, inshallah there'll be no effect that will affect you. I'm just explaining to you how the sahir, they display or how they work their magic. Sometimes they will take that piece of the person, whether it is a hair or a nail, they will mix it in the blood of a particular kind of animal. I'm not going to go into the details of how dark arts work, but just giving you an idea of some of the things that they do. They'll try to find an animal that by nature is very scared. You have a kind of mouse or mice in general, they're very, very scared, or other animals that in general, they have this kind of fear in their life. So they'll try their best to get their hands on the blood of this animal. So they'll take the piece of you, whether it's your nail or your hair. It's generally done with the hair more often. They'll take that and they'll mix it in the blood of this animal. Then they'll recite those corrupted verses that they have made, or whatever kind of enchantments that they had. They'll recite this and they'll blow it on that particular part of you. And all of a sudden the person will always have extreme fear, will see nightmares, to the point where a person will even lose their sleep. They'll not be able to sleep. And as human beings, if you don't sleep for a few days, you know what happens. Emotionally, it can have a very, very profound impact on your emotions. And these emotions is what the main target of the sahir is to make a person emotional and make mistakes. Especially anger. The sahir wants a person to be angry all the time, impulsive. And in that anger, we do many, many things that later on we regret. So this is what the main target of the sahir is. So this is how they disrupt relationships. They'll try to destroy their connection between a husband and wife. They'll try to destroy the connection between parents and children. So this is kind of the main impact of the reason why they do this. As far as why, many a times it's because of jealousy. Somebody may be jealous, so they'll employ this tactic to destroy the person they're jealous of. There's the nature of jealousy, that a person who's jealous, they cannot see, or they cannot bear to see the person they're jealous of have any kind of success. So this is one of the main reasons why they will do these kind of things. That is why even in قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, the very last ayah, we seek the refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil of those who have hasad. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. We seek the refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil of those who are hasidin, who are jealous or have jealousy in them. We seek the refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the effects of their jealousy. So this is how sihr works, and this is the protection against sihr. And there are many other ways that the sahirin or sihr they do. They have also certain drawings that they, certain writings that they do, particularly certain shapes and certain numbers. They employ, or they have a lot of yaqeen, conviction in the power of these things. Sometimes you'll see if you open up their amulets, so there's a lot of discussion about ta'weez. People talk about the amulets or the ta'weez, and these things very, very close to shirk, or they can even become shirk, because the sahirin employ this method to destroy the lives of people. So they will write in these ta'weez, or they'll write on a piece of paper, sometimes they'll even use blood, and they'll use the blood of an animal, and they'll write certain things in a particular way. And in that paper or that piece, they'll wrap up your hair or your nail, and they'll put that in a ta'weez format. It'll be tied in various knots, tied in various ways. They'll throw that into a well, or they'll bury it under a tree in a place where it's very, very difficult to get to. And then the effect starts. That is one type where it is known to be shirk. There is another thing where the ayat of the Quran, if they're recited, or the ad'iyah from the ahadith, the supplications of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we have been particularly taught various ad'iyah as protection against these things. We've been told in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, particularly about the dua, أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. This is a very, very powerful dua, and we should learn this dua from the words from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, where we say, أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات, that I seek the refuge with the kalimat, the perfect kalimat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning I seek the refuge with the Quran, the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The perfect words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Min sharri ma khalaq, from the evil of whatever He has created. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has told us in the hadith that anyone who recites this dua in the morning 3 times, so the whole day they'll be protected from any kind of harm. And if they recite this at night time 3 times, so the whole night they'll be protected from any kind of harm. And there are other ad'iyah you find in their hadith. Bismillah alladhi la yadurru ma'asmihi shay'un fil ardi wa la fis sama' wa huwa as-sami'ul 'alim. It's another very, very effective, powerful, very strong dua that we find in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So these are the ayah we should recite. And reciting them protects a person. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, he himself used to recite this dua. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. And for the little, he used to teach it to everyone. Make them recite it. And for the little children, if they were not able to recite it, little children, how much they know, how much they can learn. So he used to write it and have it tied around their arm or in a place where it was kind of a means of protection for them. So this, people then say that this is also ta'weez. And people get carried away that you see doing this kind of thing is also wrong. One thing should be clear is that the ad'iyah in the ayat of the Quran, we've always been taught to recite them. This is one thing that we should. And whenever we do have little children that cannot recite them, so we should recite them and blow it on them. Or with the niyyah and the intention that, Allah, I'm reciting this, you make it a means of protection for the young child. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also protect them. Remember, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. It's a famous hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Mentioned in Sahih Bukhari that all of the a'mal, all of the actions, they are with the intentions. So whatever intention we recite a certain dua with, or certain ayat with, so that is the impact and the effect that it will have. Also, one thing should be very clear is that whatever dua we recite, whatever ayat we recite, we must recite it with yaqeen. It should be recited with conviction. It should not be that I'm reciting this, maybe it will work. With this idea of maybe, then it will not work. In the hadith Qudsi, Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala has told us that أَنَا عِنْدَ ظَنِّ عَبْدِي بِي, meaning that I deal with my servant according to his expectations of me. Which means that if you think that maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do this for me, so there's a chance it will not happen. You have to have yaqeen. You have to have that level of conviction. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us very clearly, "Udu'u Allah wa antum muqinuna bil ijaba." Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and have this strong conviction that whatever you're supplicating for, you will definitely get it. You should not be in doubt. If you're in doubt and you have these doubts, then you will not see any effect or any impact. And we've seen this many times in our lives. We've found some people, and they'll make dua hundreds of times or thousands of times, they get nothing. They don't see any effect of it. And there'll be another person that will give them the dua, and 1 or 2 times they'll recite it, and mashallah, they'll get whatever they're asking. They'll see the effect of it almost right away. I remember one of our friends came to us and he said, for the past 1 or 2 months I've been doing this particular istighfar, and I'm not seeing anything, The effect of istighfar in the Quran, we're told the effect of istighfar, that it brings barakat in the life, brings blessings in the life. There are many who are witness to the effect of istighfar. Yes? So the ayat of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, even وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will assist you with wealth and even with children. From the ayat of the Quran, with the effect of istighfar, just saying astaghfirullah and being consistent with it. And consistent means not just 1 day or 2 days. Keep it up in your life. You'll see the barakat in your life. And we have so many experiences. So many people have come to us and they don't have children for many, many years. And we give them this formula that start doing istighfar every day. Preferably in the morning. Because in 2 or 3 places in the Quran it is mentioned, وَالْمُسْتَغْفِرِينَ بِالْأَسْحَارِ. The believers are those who do istighfar in the suhoor time, early morning before Fajr. And the other ayat of the Quran, وَبِالْأَسْحَارِ هُمْ يَسْتَغْفِرُونَ. Again, same meaning. Very early in the morning time is the best time to do istighfar. So he gave them the formula to do a particular amount of times. The hadith mentioned 100 times. So we found one of our friends came to us, he said, I'm doing for so long, I don't see anything, And you see, there was another brother who came, and after 2-3 days, he was looking for a job, and we gave him istighfar. In 2 days, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a job. He was looking for a job for 6-7 months. Not one case, not just your case. There's many cases. So the one brother for a few days, And Allah SWT gave him a job. So the other brother came to us, he said, for these many months I'm trying and I don't see anything. How this guy got a job right away? We told him, because when you're doing istighfar, you're doing with maybe it will work. He said, go ask him. He had firm yaqeen. He said, no, definitely. If the Quran says, how can it not be true, This is his words. He said, the Quran says that that Allah SWT will definitely open the doors of wealth. So how it cannot be true? So this is the difference between yaqeen and shak. Between having this conviction and having doubt. If you have doubts in your heart, don't expect results. Yes, illa ma sha Allah. Allah SWT will give to some. But in general, the general nuqta, the general rule in life is, whenever you make a dua, whenever you recite some ayah, or you find any kind of dua, first thing first, check your yaqeen. Check your conviction. This is the essence of iman. This is what iman is. This belief, it is based on yaqeen. So when you have that yaqeen, then definitely it will work. And it has amazing impact. This is why it's very, very important to have that yaqeen whenever, whatever kind of dua you make. And this becomes a means of protection against these ad'iyah, especially those that I just recited. They're a means of protection against various kinds of harms. So those who indulge in this kind of sihr or magic to destroy people's lives, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it very, very clear in the previous ayah, in ayat number 102, وَلَبِئْسَ مَا شَرَوْا بِهِ أَنفُسَهُمْ. And very terrible was the kind of business they did. And it was very clear to them also that whosoever buys this kind of, whoever deals in this kind of sihr, that they will not have any kind of portion in the akhirah. مَا لَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ. They will not have any portion in the akhirah for them. But basically they're ruining the hereafter, and they're getting the ghadab and the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who indulge in sihr and indulge in magic. Yes, there may be some kind of temporary benefit. Maybe the hasid or the jealous person may feel some kind of happiness that he's seeing the person he's jealous of go through some kind of difficulty. But in reality, remember one thing about jealous people. Even if, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from jealousy. The person who is jealous, his whole life they're jealous. They'll be jealous of one person. When that person, they realize it doesn't work, they'll be jealous of someone else. It's a very terrible disease. Jealousy is a disease, amongst one of the many diseases of the heart. And it's such a terrible disease that it never goes away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us. And it says that there are some people, they commit sins, so they'll burn in the hereafter because of their sins. But a hasid, a jealous person, he burns in this dunya and he burns in the akhirah. Because the hasid, the jealous person, he's burning in this world because the person he's jealous of, he sees that this person is enjoying life and he can't bear it, And that jealousy is burning inside him. It consumes him. So in this dunya they're burning, and because of the sin of this jealousy, in the hereafter they will also burn. This is why people resort, or this is why the hasideen, they turn to this kind of sihr and this kind of magic to destroy the lives of people. And because of this quality of hasad, some of them also develop other kind of dangerous aspects. We can also come to the aspect of nadhr, or evil eye. It's also a very, very dangerous thing. Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has told us that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that most of my ummah will die because of sihr. Because of the ayn, because of the evil eye. That this evil eye is so dangerous, it can even kill someone. It can cause someone's death. An evil eye is a person because of the whatever qualities they have in their hearts. But they praise someone or praise something without taking the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the very thing they praise, it gets destroyed. That is why whenever you praise something, make sure that you take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Say MashaAllah. Just say MashaAllah. Or say Tabarakallah. Or just take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it will remove any kind of ill effect. But you'll find the person who's hasid, they will never say MashaAllah. They'll say wow. And after that, that one wow, things will be destroyed. And there's some who are very, very dangerous with it. They're very, very dangerous with it. We saw with our own, we were sitting, this was back home, and back home they have the horse carriage, the carts. So there was some people sitting in the horse carriage and the horse was going. And there was two elders just sitting there, and one was telling the other one, he said, do you know how powerful I am? The other one said, how powerful are you? He said, I can destroy that horse carriage. The other one was telling him, come on man, there's people inside, little children, you're going to harm people. He said, yeah, but just watch, look how strong I am. He looked at it, he said, wow, how strong that horse is. And the horse collapsed. Right in front of her, immediately, the horse collapsed. For no reason at all. And the carriage broke, This is, just on the spot, completely destroyed the horse and the carriage. This is how dangerous ayn can become. And people get hurt. People even, their lives can be in danger. So this ayn is something that also we've been warned about. And the kuffar, they used to try to use this against Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in various ways. They used to come to him and tell him, wow, how intelligent you are, or it's amazing how much you know. You're trying to evil eye him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this in the Quran. وَإِن يَكَادُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَيُزْلِقُونَكَ بِأَبْصَارِهِمْ لَمَّا سَمِعُوا الذِّكْرِ. And the kuffar, they wish and they want to destroy you with their eyes, make you slip with their eyes, using ayn against you. لَمَّا سَمِعُوا الذِّكْرِ, whenever they hear this Quran. وَيَقُولُونَ إِنَّهُ لَمَجْنُونَ, and they go around saying that you are mad. وَمَا هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. But this Quran is a reminder for all of the worlds. Even these ayat, the last two ayat of Surat al-Qalam, the surah after Surat al-Mulk, the last two ayat, these are also very effective as protection against the ayn, against the evil eye. And also قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, of course we've already mentioned this. And قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, specifically وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ, the evil of, this is also another way that the hasidin, they display their hasad, is through the evil eye. So we should always seek the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from these kind of very, very dangerous elements. And if we do have, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save all of us, but if we do have some kind of jealousy against anyone, make dua of khair for those people. This is how you remove jealousy from the heart. You may be jealous of someone. We're human beings. We have various kinds of feelings. And we don't know who may hear this. If you feel that you're jealous of someone, especially after salah, at the tahajjud time, make dua of khair for that person you're jealous of. That, oh Allah, you bless them. Oh Allah, give them the best of this dunya. Oh Allah, give them the best of the akhirah. This will remove that jealousy from you. Make dua of khair for people. Be a well-wisher of people. This will remove the jealousy from your heart. Also give sadaqah. And take care of orphans. When you start taking care of orphans, and you start helping the poor people, this will start making you appreciate the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. And this will remove the jealousy from your heart, from a person's heart. Even have been told to put your hand on the head of the yatim. Just putting your hand on the head of yatim is a kind of kindness, is a kind of love. It has profound impact. Very, very profound impact. You should remember that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was also yatim. What kind of profound impact it has. Taking care of the yatama, it removes that jealousy from a person's heart. We should always be mindful and reminded of the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed on us. Then we will not have time to be jealous of other people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and give all of us tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا في الجنة بالقرآن. اللهم اجعل القرآن لنا في الدنيا قرينا وفي القبر مونسا وعلى الصراط نورا وفي الجنة رفيقا ومن النار سترا وحجابا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.